Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to do a quick video, first impression, quick review of the new, or at least new to me, Mickey Thompson Baja XS. This is the XS tires. These are 38 inch by 13.5, 17 inch. The wheels I have are 17 by 9, just plain old steelies. Amazing tires, amazing wheels. I got these tires brand new. I bought 4 of them, and then I bought another one as a spare. So far, we only have 358 miles into them, so they're pretty new, and I've only done 2 off-road trip, which are just mud trip. I don't have any experience with them yet in snow, rock crawling. This is just mudding here in Alaska. I'm gonna go through some really quick cons, pros and cons, and quick disclaimer, this video isn't sponsored, so this is an unbiased review. My personal reviews, paid it with my own money. Let's start with the cons. First of all, 38 inch, they're expensive. These guys ran about $675 or just about 700 bucks alone. Just for one, and they're gonna get more expensive in the future. They're expensive, and if you have an off-road rig, you're most likely gonna get 5 if you care about having spare, which I do. Number 2 con is they are loud. These things will howl at highway speed. You know, if you're just doing city driving 45, but once you get to the highway, that's gonna conclude today's off-road trip. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I was wearing earplugs, you know, the cushion earplugs, and they were still loud. I don't listen to music, so I don't blast my radio. So that's something you have to make sure you're okay with. If you're gonna do a long road trip with these and you have kids or family, your wife with you, they might not like it because they don't want to wear earplugs throughout the whole trip. So that's something that's loud. 3, I don't know for sure, but I already know that these tires are gonna wear fast. They're a bit softer, they're gonna wear fast, and being an expensive tire, I don't want them to happen. So they are on my 80 series. What I plan to do is I'm gonna take them off and try to find some 285 all-terrain tires and use those for my daily, and then whenever I go off-roading on the weekends, whatever, I can just switch them over. Super simple, not a big deal. So plan ahead. If you're gonna trailer your rig, that's totally fine, but if you're gonna daily this every day, you might not want to buy these. You're gonna burn them out and it's just gonna be a waste of money. But if you're a weekend warrior, you might buy these like me and buy another set of tires and slap those on. So that might be worth it to you. That is a tricky part, because depending on how your rig is, like my rig is geared up in 529, so if I go back to like in 285, 265, my RPM is gonna be crazy, but I think it'll be worth it because I'm still saving the tread life on these expensive tires. So that's one thing I plan to do. Is I already have another set of tires, 16-inch wheels, and they're on 265 right now, but I'm gonna try to find some 285 or even some 315 all-terrain and run those for the time being until I need some aggressive tires. So that's something to consider. The other cons that I found that wasn't mentioned is these tires are directional. So if you guys don't know what that means these tires, they're meant to go in one particular way. So if they have it set up for this way, this right here is set up to go this rotation, so it has to go on the passenger side only. It can only go on the front passenger or the rear passenger, because the tread is directional. That's one of the cons about Mickey Thompson. One of my first tires from Mickey Thompson was the Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ when I had my Toyota pickup back then, and those are directional tires. So the con to that is that when you have big tires, it's really important to rotate them. I try to do rotation every 1,000 miles or so, and I'm actually in the process of cleaning my rig, and I'm just gonna rotate them, you know, from passenger front to rear passenger. So that's what I'm doing. But you want to keep, that's one of the maintenance with big tires. You want to make sure you rotate them. Don't just slap them on, drive it forever, fill up the air pressure, and that's not maintenance. You have to rotate them and have a good wear pattern. So these tires are rotational. That's one of the cons. So that means that when you rotate them back and front to rear, you're supposed to do zigzags. So you're supposed to go from front passenger and put the front passenger into the rear driver, and then rear passenger into the front driver. You're supposed to do an X. That's the real way to rotation it. So for now, I'm gonna do it this way, and then maybe after 5 rotations, I'll take it to the tire shop and have them switch it around. So now it'll be on the other side, vice versa. So that's one of the cons to it. They are directional. And the con the other con is that your spare tire, since it's directional, my spare tire is mounted so that it's meant to go on the driver's side. But in the worst case scenario, let's say I'm off-roading and one of my tires get a gash and I need to use my spare and it's not supposed to be on the driver, or it's not on the driver's side, it's on the passenger side, I'm still gonna use it. But that's something to keep in mind. When you have your spare tire and it's directional, you have to think about, hey, which side do I want it to go on? But like I say, in the oh shoot moment, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna slap it on because it's your spare tire. So that's just something to keep in mind. Just don't drive it like that for a long time. So directional tires. So those are the quick cons that I could think of. They're expensive, they're loud, directional tire, they will wear fast, and that's pretty much all the cons I have for now for my first impression. Now let's think about the pros. The pros is that, man, oh yeah, one of the other cons, they are heavy, but again, that's something that's comes with these kind of tires. They're heavy tires, so it is what it is. Now with the pros is that they perform amazing. Now I've only done 2 off-road trip in the mud, so I only have experience with the mud. The first trip I dropped it down to 15 psi, performed good, and then the last recent trip we just did yesterday, make sure you guys watch the video, extreme mudding, off-roading, Escafall. The last trip, yesterday's trip, I went down to 10 psi just to mess with it. Now these aren't B-Locks tires, so you gotta be careful when you go down to 10, 5 psi. Just don't go hammering on stuff like that, or else you might pop a B on the trip. But it's all good if you have a spare. They perform really good at 10 psi. They're super smooth. Even when it was at 10 psi and I was just coasting through the trail, I was still able to go to like 20 miles per hour, and these tires were just like floating, super cushion, super grippy. And also I have 529s, I have front and rear lockers, so that does make a difference. I was able to climb through some rocky hills and some gravel hills, and these things perform really good. There are some times where it was losing traction because it was slippery on the incline, but that's like straight up mud hill. So perform really good. Through the mud hole, it did great, but then you know, being a Land Cruiser super heavy, this vehicle just sunk in, and at that point the tire really doesn't matter anymore. These tires, they have some big lugs, so they do clean out themselves really good. That's one thing I like about it. Once you get into a mud hole, and as soon as you get out, if you spin your wheels, it'll just shoot all the mud out, so that's very nice. Super nice. Lots of treads, lots of side biters, and just a good tire overall. With bigger tires, people also wonder about balancing the tires, and I got these wheels and tires balanced at Diversified Tires in Wasilla, and they're like a big tire shop. They mess with big tires, small tires, and they know how to balance it. So you can see it has like 2 weights, and then I think on the other side it has 2 weights, so it doesn't have extreme lots of weights. But with the right person, if you know how to balance it, it's totally fine. You don't have to use the Dyna beads. If you do it right, you can just use these aluminum beads. And I usually prefer these beads, just less mess and stuff like that. I also don't recommend using the sticky adhesive ones, because if you off-road, there's a chance of those just coming off once you spin your tire in the mud. They balance fine. I'm able to get up to 65 miles per hour, and it doesn't have any def wobbles or any def shit like that. But I usually, when I'm on the highway, I try to avoid going 65. I try to stick to around 55 to 60 and just, you know, go at lower speeds and stuff like that. One of the other tip I also want to mention is that if you guys have these tires and when you guys off-roading, when you guys get stuck or something like that and you're like literally stuck, stop giving it gas. People are still giving it gas, and they're doing what I call an off-road burnout. There's no need to do an off-road burnout when you're already stuck and you're just spinning your tires. And this is what happens when you do that. You start cutting your tires up, and you can see I cut some of it up already because I was doing it in the mud hole. So whenever you're stuck and stuff like that, guys, just stop. When you're stuck and you're not moving no more, there's no need to give it gas no more. There's no need to keep spinning your wheels and burning it on a rock or mud or anything like that. So that's going to be it for this quick first impression. I'll update you guys. Like I said, we're only 358 miles into these tires. I think after 2,000, once we get to 3,000 miles, or once I get more trips into this, I'll go ahead and give you guys an update on 3,000 miles, 10,000 miles, etc., etc. I plan to stick with this tire for a while until they wear out. I don't want to buy new tires anymore. I spent a lot of money on this, so we're gonna stick with these 38s until they wear out. So I'm hoping I can at least get maybe 10,000, or hopefully I can get at least 15 to 20,000, or at least, you know, 3-4 years with these before I go on to another 38. Or if these tires are good and they perform good at, you know, if they still have good life at 10 to 15,000 miles, I might just even buy another set in the future. But I'll try to keep you guys updated in the future once we get more miles in this, and also more experience and more different terrain with it, because I want to test these out. We're testing in mud, does good on mud already. Now it's also time to test it out on rocks and water crossing and snow and stuff like that, ice and snow. I got lots of people in Alaska here that run these tires. These tires are really famous in Alaska, so there's already tons of folks with these tires, and they, you know, Eric with the Black Yoda, he runs this and he does fine in the snow. They all love this, so I think this is a great tire. But again, just make sure you go through the cons and see if those are something you're willing to live up for. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys got any question, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have this tire, let me know in the comment section what do you guys like, what do you guys don't like, and let me know what kind of miles you guys are getting. Like what's the tire life you guys are getting. Do you guys have like 5,000 miles or 10-20,000 miles? Let me know in the comment section. Measure your tread depth so we can know in the comment section, so we can all learn together. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.